Thank you, Mr President. I rise to speak on the Statutes Amendment Attorney General's Portfolio and Other Justice Measures Bill. The Greens will support this bill, but we do have some concerns about a number of the provisions, and I might ask some questions about those at the committee stage. The bill contains a number of minor and technical amendments, most of which the Greens support, and we understand the rationale. However, there are two provisions of note that I wish to comment on. The first is the amendment to the Correctional Services Act found in Part 3 of the bill that allows the Parole Board to impose new conditions where there has been no breach of parole. It's my understanding that the Parole Board asked for this change and that this power will not be used often. But the Greens are concerned that there is no test or threshold that has to be met before a new condition can be added. Once this new bail condition is added, the usual processes around a parole apply, and a person impacted has the chance to challenge the new condition. However, I am concerned that in the absence of any breach of parole, I am struggling to envisage circumstances where additional parole conditions will be needed and could not be addressed through other mechanisms. This gives the Parole Board a very wide-ranging power that, despite assurances it will not be used often, and in particular hypothetical situations, we simply do not know how or how often this power will be used. And that is of concern. We're giving very broad, wide-ranging powers, and the precise rationale for the change I don't think has been made clear by the government. Secondly, with regard to Part 11, I am pleased to see the government cracking down on copper theft from rail infrastructure and clarifying this provision. However, studies show that harsher penalties do not work to reduce crime. The Greens do recognise that copper theft is an issue, and as is the case of theft from rail infrastructure, it has the potential to cause hazards and delays, but that does not change the fact that harsher penalties do not work. There's also a significant problem in our state at the moment with copper theft from construction sites, and this indeed is an issue that has been raised with me. I have heard of South Australians that are building their own homes being in a situation where they don't want to leave the construction site unattended because they're in fear that someone's going to come and rip up the copper. Perhaps it's worth the government investigating in some sort of tracking or another mechanism to help prevent theft of this nature, and looking at ways that they might keep track of copper. Ultimately, the way to reduce crime is to minimise the circumstances in which they feel they are left with no other options. Social and affordable housing, free education, lower grocery prices, free and frequent public transport, all of these things reduce the risk of crime, particularly if the offending relates to stealing a material and selling it on for profit. So I urge the government to consider that as part of its broader approach. As I say, we're broadly supportive of a number of the provisions within the bill. There are a few elements that we have concerns about, and I will ask the Attorney General some questions about those in the committee stage. Thank you.